Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something that literally shapes your entire life, your daily routine. Not the perfect YouTube montage routine. I'm talking about the real one, the one that actually decides who you become.
Yeah, exactly. People think routines are boring, but honestly, they're the most powerful thing you can control. You can't control motivation, you can't control how you feel every morning, but you can control what you do the moment you wake up. And that's what we're talking about today.
Before we start, if you're new here, we make podcasts that help you build structure, discipline, and a better mindset. No fluff, no complicated stuff. You just listen. And over time, your brain literally starts reprogramming itself through repetition. So if you haven't already, check out the previous episodes on the channel. They all connect together, and the more you listen, the more everything makes sense.
All right, let's get into today's topic, because here's the truth. A daily routine isn't about being perfect. It's about designing a system that makes your life easier, even on bad days. Most people fail because they rely on motivation. Successful people rely on structure.
And you know what's funny? Your routine already exists, whether you planned it or not. Waking up late, checking your phone first thing in the morning, skipping tasks, eating randomly. That is a routine. It's just one that works against you instead of for you.
So today we're breaking down why routines decide your future, why your brain actually craves structure, and how small daily habits create massive long-term change without you even realizing it. Not with pressure, not with perfection, just with consistency.
Let's start with the first part. Why your routine literally tells your brain who you are. So here's something people never think about. Your brain is basically a machine that constantly looks for patterns, and the patterns it sees every day become your identity. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, your brain says, oh, this person is reactive. They start their day by responding to the world. But if you wake up, sit up, breathe for a minute, drink water, and organize your thoughts, your brain says, okay, this person is in control. This person leads their day instead of following it.
Exactly. And that happens without you even noticing. People underestimate how powerful the first 5 minutes of their day are. Think of it like this. Your morning is the steering wheel of your entire routine. If you turn it the wrong direction, the whole day drifts away. But if you turn it right, just a little, your whole day becomes smoother. You don't need a perfect morning routine, you just need a consistent one.
And that consistency rewires your brain over time. Neuroscience literally shows that repetition is stronger than motivation. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. Your brain cares about what you do every day. So even if your routine is small, like drinking water, stretching, journaling, or planning your day, it sends a message to your brain. I'm someone who takes care of myself. I'm someone who gets things done. I'm someone with direction.
And here's the crazy part. When your brain believes something about you, your actions automatically follow it. It's like a loop. Your habits create your identity, and your identity reinforces your habits. That's why routines are powerful. It's not the habit itself. It's who you become because of the habit.
And this is where most people get stuck. They think routines must be complicated. They think it has to be a perfect 5 a.m. miracle routine, like those videos online. But your daily routine can be simple. Wake up, drink water, move your body for a few minutes, make your bed, plan 3 important tasks, and stick to it every day. Not perfectly, just consistently.
You know what I always tell people? Your routine should make your life easier, not harder. If your routine feels like a burden, you won't follow it. If it feels natural, you will. That's why we're talking about this today, to help you build a realistic daily routine that works with your life, not against it.
And that brings us to something really interesting. Most people think they need motivation to start their routine, but it's the opposite. Your routine creates motivation. When you do small things consistently, your brain gets tiny rewards, little hits of dopamine. Those small wins create momentum. That momentum becomes motivation, and that motivation fuels your goals.
And over time, your entire identity changes. You go from someone trying to be disciplined to someone who is disciplined. You stop saying, I'm trying to wake up early, and you start saying, I'm someone who wakes up early. That's identity level change. And identity level change is what lasts.
So let's break it down even deeper. Because once you understand this, your routine becomes 10 times easier to build.
All right, the next part. How small daily habits create massive long-term change without you even noticing.
You know, Mark, the funny thing is that people always look for big dramatic changes. They think they need a new life plan, a new schedule, a new mindset, or some huge breakthrough to finally transform their life. But the truth is way simpler. Your life doesn't change in one big moment. It changes in the tiny moments you repeat every single day, the ones you barely even notice. Like the moment you choose to sit up instead of hitting snooze, or the moment you choose to drink water instead of scrolling your phone, or the moment you take a deep breath instead of rushing. These little actions seem small, but your brain quietly collects them, adds them up, and slowly, they form a completely new version of you.
Exactly. It's like building a wall. People look at a giant wall and think, wow, that must have been so much work. But the person who built it didn't think about the whole wall. They thought about one brick. One perfect brick laid every day. Over time, the wall appears. That's your routine. Every tiny habit is a brick. Drink water, brick. Make your bed, brick. Plan your day, brick. 5 minutes of movement, brick. And suddenly, without realizing it, you've built something huge.
And the coolest part? You don't feel the change day by day. You don't notice yourself becoming more organized, more focused, more calm, but other people do. They see your energy change. They see your consistency. They see that you're not chaotic anymore. You're not lost. You're not waking up without purpose. They see someone who moves with intention, someone with direction, someone who actually respects their time.
And when you think about it, that's the real power of routines. You're not just organizing your day, you're teaching the world how to treat you. If you show up messy, people treat you like you're messy. If you show up consistent, people trust you. If you show up disciplined, people rely on you. And all of that comes from the tiny things you repeat every day.
Let's get more specific. Take mornings, for example. Most people wake up, grab their phone, check messages, scroll social media, and instantly fill their mind with noise. And then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, unfocused, or tired. Their routine is basically telling their brain, you're not in control. The world controls you. But imagine if instead your morning looked like this. Wake up, sit up, stretch your neck and shoulders, drink water, open your window, take a slow breath, and think, what's the one thing I need to do today? That's it. Just 5 simple steps. But it instantly shifts your energy. It tells your brain, I'm in charge. I choose my pace. I choose my direction.
And what's interesting is that these routines don't need to be fancy. People love overcomplicating them. They'll say, I need a 20-step morning routine, or I need to wake up at 5 a.m. But none of that matters. What matters is repetition. Your brain doesn't care what time you wake up. Your brain cares what you do after you wake up. Whether it's 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. doesn't matter. What matters is consistency.
Speaking of consistency, let's talk about something most people avoid: evening routines. Because your daily routine doesn't start in the morning, it starts the night before. If your nights are chaotic, if you're on your phone until 3 a.m., if your mind is overstimulated, if your room is messy, you can't expect your mornings to feel good. Your night sets the tone. It's like giving your mind a smooth landing before sleep so it can give you a clean takeoff the next day.
Exactly. And honestly, even the smallest nighttime habits help, like cleaning your desk for 2 minutes, setting aside your clothes, planning 2 important tasks, turning off bright lights, letting your brain slow down. These things don't seem important, but they completely change how you wake up. They make your routine feel lighter, more natural, more automatic.
And once your routine becomes automatic, that's when life gets interesting. Because now your brain isn't wasting energy on simple decisions. You don't wake up thinking, what should I do first? Your body already knows. Your mind already knows. And that frees up your energy for bigger things: your goals, your work, your creativity, your learning. A good routine doesn't trap you, it frees you.
And let's be honest, without routines, life becomes unpredictable. One good day, 3 bad ones. One productive morning, a week of procrastination. And people wonder why they can't stay consistent. But when you build routines, real routines, your baseline improves. Your average day becomes better. Not perfect, just better. Every single day.
And that brings us to the next part, the part nobody talks about: how routines actually affect your emotions, your confidence, and your self-image. It's deeper than people think.
Yeah, let's dive into that. How a simple daily routine quietly upgrades your entire personality. So, Anna, here's something people never pay attention to. Your routine is not just a schedule, it's a statement. It's a message you repeatedly send to your brain about who you are. And over time, your brain starts believing it. If your routine is chaotic, inconsistent, random, your brain forms an identity around that. It tells you, I'm someone who doesn't finish things. I'm someone who gets overwhelmed. I'm someone who can't stick to habits. And because your brain wants to stay consistent with the identity it knows, you keep repeating those behaviors.
Exactly. But the second you commit to small, stable routines, even tiny ones, your brain starts rewriting that identity. You wake up and drink water, your brain says, ah, we're someone who takes care of ourselves. You write down a simple plan for the day, your brain goes, oh, we're someone who's organized. You make your bed, your brain learns, we finish what we start. Everything you do becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. And the more votes you cast, the stronger that identity becomes.
That's why routines build confidence, not because you suddenly achieve a big goal, but because every small action proves something to yourself. Confidence is not saying, I believe in myself. Confidence is saying, I trust myself because I've shown up every day. It's earned, and routines are the easiest way to earn it.
Let me tell you a story. I used to think routines were boring. I wanted spontaneity, creativity, surprise. But what I didn't realize was that my lack of structure was killing my creativity. I was always stressed, always rushing, always feeling behind. And you know what happens when you're constantly behind? Your brain goes into survival mode. You can't think clearly, you can't make good decisions, you can't imagine new possibilities. But when I started adding just 3 simple habits: wake up, breathe, plan, everything changed. Suddenly I had space in my mind. And with space comes creativity.
That's so true. People think routines trap them, but actually routines create freedom. When the basics are automatic, your brain is free to focus on the things that matter. Imagine your life like a phone. If you have 100 apps running in the background, your battery dies fast and everything lags. But when you clear the background tasks, your phone runs smoothly. That's your mind. Your routine cleans background apps every day.
Now, let's talk about energy, because routines massively affect your energy levels. Most people don't realize that chaos drains energy. Waking up late drains energy. Scrolling for 30 minutes drains energy. Not knowing what to do first drains energy. Decision fatigue drains energy. And by the time they start their day, they're already tired. But people with routines conserve their energy. They don't waste mental power on small decisions. Their mindset is clear, their goals are obvious, and their habits guide them like autopilot.
And it goes deeper. A routine also affects your emotional stability. When life feels unpredictable, your emotions become unpredictable too. Your mood swings more. You feel lost more often. But when you have daily structure, you give your emotions a home, a safe rhythm, a predictable pattern, and your mind relaxes. That's why routines reduce anxiety. Not because life becomes perfect, but because life becomes more predictable.
Let's talk about something even deeper: your self-respect. Because your routine is one of the biggest indicators of how much you respect yourself. If you constantly break promises to yourself, your brain stops taking you seriously. You say, I'm going to wake up early, but you don't. I'm going to study, but you don't. I'm going to eat healthier, but you don't. And eventually, your brain says none of our promises matter. But when you stick to your routine, even in small ways, your brain starts believing you again. You rebuild trust with yourself, and that's one of the strongest forms of self-love.
And here's another thing most people forget. A routine creates momentum. If you start your day well, you're more likely to end it well. If you start the week strong, you're more likely to stay consistent. Momentum is real. It's like pushing a heavy car. At the beginning, it's hard, but once it starts rolling, it barely takes effort to keep it moving. Your routine is the initial push.
Let's go even further. Your daily routine doesn't just affect your day, it affects your future, because every small habit compounds. One glass of water isn't much, but 365 days of hydration changes your skin, your focus, your health. 5 minutes of reading isn't much, but 365 days of reading changes your vocabulary, your perspective, your career. 10 minutes of planning isn't much, but 365 days of planning makes you unstoppable. This is the hidden magic of routines, the magic nobody sees until it's too late.
And that brings us to something important. How to build routines that last, not routines that burn you out. Let's talk about that next.
You know, Anna, a lot of people try to build routines with excitement, but they destroy their own progress with unrealistic expectations. They try to change everything at once: wake up early, meditate, journal, work out, study, drink water, read books, all on the same day. And by day 3, they're exhausted. Not because they're weak, but because they're human. Your brain can't handle 10 new habits overnight. It's not designed for that. Lasting routines are built slowly, intentionally, and with compassion.
Exactly. People forget that your brain resists sudden change. When you push too hard, your brain treats the new habit like a threat. It says, this is too much, this is unsafe, and it pulls you back to old patterns. But when you introduce small habits, tiny ones, your brain accepts them easily. It doesn't feel overwhelmed. It feels calm, safe, comfortable, and that makes the habit stick.
Let's break it down. There are 3 levels of routines people try to build. One is the fantasy routine, the perfect schedule people imagine. 2 is the motivation routine, the one they start with excitement. And 3 is the identity routine, the one they actually stick to. And the only one that truly changes your life is the identity routine. The one so natural, so simple, so sustainable that it becomes part of who you are.
And the identity routine always starts with one question. What is the smallest habit I can do every day without failing? Not the most impressive habit, the most realistic one. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. A 2-minute stretch is better than a 1-hour workout you never repeat. A 1-line journal entry is better than a full page you only write twice. A 5-minute tidy up is better than a full cleaning session you keep postponing.
And here's the secret. Small habits don't stay small. They grow, they expand, they evolve. Your brain begins to crave progress. If you stretch for 2 minutes every morning, your body starts wanting 4 minutes. If you read for 5 minutes every night, your mind starts wanting 10. Small habits quietly build larger habits without forcing anything.
Let's also talk about something that kills routines instantly: guilt. People miss one day and suddenly think, well, I ruined it, I failed. But that's not true at all. Missing one day means nothing. Missing 10 days means nothing. What matters is coming back. Discipline isn't never missing. Discipline is always returning. Returning without judgment, without guilt, without shame. Just continuing.
Right, because guilt drains motivation, but curiosity builds motivation. Imagine instead of saying, I failed, you say, why didn't I do it yesterday? Was I tired? Was I distracted? Was my habit too big? How can I make it easier today? This creates progress. This creates awareness. Guilt shuts the door. Curiosity opens it.
Another mistake people make is relying on motivation. Motivation comes and goes like weather. Sunny one day, stormy the next. If your routine depends on motivation, it will collapse every time your mood drops. But if your routine depends on structure, then motivation becomes a bonus, not a requirement. You don't need to feel inspired. You just follow your rhythm.
And structure doesn't mean strict rules. It means clarity. Clarity makes routines easier. If you know exactly what to do when you wake up, you don't think, you just do it. If you know exactly when to study, you don't procrastinate, you start automatically. Clarity creates flow. Ambiguity creates friction.
Speaking of flow, let's discuss habit triggers. Triggers are micro signals that tell your brain, now we do this. For example, make bed, drink water. Brush teeth, stretch. Sit at desk, plan your day. Put on shoes, go for a walk. Turn off lights, do nighttime breathing. Triggers turn routine into autopilot, and autopilot is what makes habits last for years.
And here's the beautiful part. When your routine becomes autopilot, you free up so much mental space that you finally have the energy to improve other areas of your life. You start eating healthier without forcing it. You start learning faster. You start feeling more confident because your foundation is stable.
And once your foundation is stable, you can level up your routine, not by adding more tasks, but by making your tasks more meaningful. You start asking questions like, what is my intention today? What is one thing I can do that truly matters? What can I remove from my life that drains my time? Your routine becomes a compass, not just a checklist.
And that leads us to the next part. how to design a morning and night routine that matches your personality, your energy, and your real life.
All right, everyone, this is our final segment for today's episode. We've gone through so much already. Daily routines, tiny habits that change your life, building consistency, improving your mindset, and even learning English naturally while listening to us. And now it's time to focus on one very important thing: practical practice while you listen.
Exactly. From now on, whenever we speak, try to repeat after us. Say the words out loud. Feel the rhythm. Pronounce them as if they're coming from your own mouth. For example, when I say, consistency is key, you say, consistency is key. When Anna says, tiny habits create massive change, you repeat, tiny habits create massive change. Do it naturally, at your own pace. Pretend you're speaking with us. Your brain absorbs language and patterns much faster this way. Every time you repeat, you internalize it. Every time you practice, you grow a little more.
That's right. And remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about repetition, confidence, and comfort. Even if you make mistakes, even if your accent isn't perfect, you're learning, you're improving, and that's what matters. So whenever we talk about routines, habits, or English expressions, try to say them yourself. Feel it, speak it, live it.
And looking back, think about how much you've learned today. We covered why routines shape your brain and your identity, how small habits quietly transform your life, the power of consistency over motivation, how to structure your mornings and nights, and how English learning works naturally when you just listen and repeat.
That's a lot of knowledge for one episode. So take a deep breath, relax for a moment, and reflect on everything you've heard. And don't forget, repetition is your best friend. Listen again, repeat again, practice every day. That's how you turn today's lesson into real change tomorrow.
And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Support the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Tell us what you want in the next episode, what you're practicing, or even share a sentence you repeated out loud. Every bit of support helps us keep making long, useful, natural podcasts for you.
So, thank you again for spending this time with us. Keep practicing, keep listening, and don't forget to repeat after us. It's the fastest way to absorb English naturally. Remember, just by listening and speaking along, you're transforming your skills, your habits, and your life.
All right, everyone, that's it for today's final segment. Stay consistent, stay curious, and always come back to these episodes. Your journey to better habits and better English is just getting started.
We'll see you in the next episode. Keep repeating, keep practicing, keep improving, and thank you for supporting Mr. Easy English. Goodbye for now.